The various halachos and practices that we have over the course of the Bein HaMetzarim, the 3 weeks, the 9 days, as we get closer to Tisha B'Av, Tisha B'Av itself, are clearly about making sure that we understand and we feel that mourning, the sense of loss and sadness that we need to have over not having a Beis HaMikdash, over the destruction of Yerushalayim. But if you think about it, there's one halacha in particular that seems to be difficult to understand. One of the halachos similar to that of Avelus is the Isser of She'elas Shalom, the prohibition of greeting people, of saying Shalom Aleichem, of welcoming people. And it seems strange. Why? Well, the Gemara in Yuma tells us that the reason that the second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed was because of sinas chinam, because of baseless hatred. We didn't get along. We didn't know how to act with one another. So of all days, wouldn't we think that the one day that we should be extra vigilant and extra careful about making sure that we greet every single person with a big smile, b'sever panim yafos, should be Tisha B'Av? Aren't we digging ourselves deeper into that hole of that sinas chinam by not greeting others on Tisha B'Av? Why would Chazal mandate an Isser of She'elas Shalom? Yes, it's a mourning practice. It comes from Avelus. But in particular on Tisha B'Av, it just seems to be against what the day is about and what we need to accomplish. I remember seeing a beautiful explanation a few years ago from Rav Biederman. And he suggests as follows. He says that Hashem knows what's in our hearts. And He knows the feelings that we may have towards one another. And He knows that we may not be so meticulous when we're greeting others about how they really feel. We may ask in a perfunctory way, good morning, or how are you, and not really be paying attention. But the She'elas Shalom, when we really greet somebody and we really care, is a different type of greeting. And he suggests that the reason that on Tisha B'Av specifically, there's an Isser of She'elas Shalom, there's a prohibition to greet, is because we want to make it clear that we know what it feels like to not have that greeting. Because when we go through a day and we feel what it feels like to be alone and to be separate, and that nobody's saying hello to us, then we're going to be that much more careful tomorrow. We're going to make sure that when Tisha B'Av leaves us, we're not going to allow somebody else to feel that way. We're going to realize what happens to that person that we ignore, to the person that we don't say good morning, to the person that we don't say Shalom Aleichem, to the person that we don't say good Shabbos to. What it feels like. What it feels like. So specifically on Tisha B'Av, in order to make sure that we will increase Ahavas Chinam, we all are in that state of being separate. Of Badad Yeshev, Eicha Yashva Vadad. Now Hamalek, understand, how can a person be allowed to sit alone? That's not the normal existence. That's not the way it should be. It's something that we all experienced over a year ago of being, that feeling of being alone, and it hurts and it's painful. And that's what the Isser of She'elas Shalom is about. It's about fostering an understanding of how valuable greeting other people and our relationships with others are. And that's Chazal, and their genius understood that even though it seems to go against the root of what Tisha B'Av is about, we can have an Isser of She'elas Shalom in place. Because when we experience it and then come out of a Tisha B'Av, we won't allow it. We won't allow somebody to be alone. We won't allow anybody to not have that greeting, a smile, a good Shabbos, a Shalom Aleichem, a good morning. And hopefully, if we experience and we allow Tisha B'Av to penetrate us and to impact us, then when we emerge, we're different people. We're people who not only are yearning on the spiritual Bein Adam Lamakom level for a Beis HaMikdash, but want to build those bonds with one another. Understand that the shalom and the unity, the achdus that we have is what keeps us going and keeps us strong in this galus, and ultimately, hopefully, brings us soon to the redemption, to the rebuilding the Beis HaMikdash, to that point of very soon that all of these tzomos will be turned into Yom Tov. B'mheirav Yameinu. Amen.